This episode is proudly supported by Westholme Australian Wagyu. Here's Stephen Sinclair from Jackson's on George.
In general, Westholme, I use several items on the menu from them. I always look to source products for their flavour. And with Westholme, I think they deliver that 100%. Australian Wagyu, in particular, Westholme is world class. Westholme is recognised for their quality all over the world. And then that's why, and when I tried it, and I absolutely love the flavour. This is, why I decided to put them on the menu.
Westholme believe that when nature leads, flavour follows. Learn more at westholme.com.
Most of the restrictions here are positive. Like having no cool room means that everything's fresh, that everything sort of, comes in and leaves and doesn't sort of sit around. But yeah, we work around everything and we kind of enjoy the challenge.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. When we talk about hidden gems, we often refer to a venue hidden down a laneway or through a secret door in the city. It's not often considered in a regional location, but there is somewhere in regional Victoria that's tucked away and doing things very, very differently. Joel Alderdice is the head chef and restaurateur of Emerald City in the Yarra Valley. Joel, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Good. It's good to get you on the show. You've got arguably the most unique little restaurant set up in the country.
Absolutely. It feels it. It's a tiny little room with a giant green chandelier and a funky bar, and yeah, it's good fun.
Well, tell us a little bit about it, because it doesn't have many seats and it's quite different.
Yeah, so basically we're inside of a whiskey and ale house. So Main Street, Healesville, Kavanagh's Whiskey and Ale House. It's been around for about 2 years now. So owners Kate and Brendan Kavanagh opened it, and yeah, they've been doing really well and had a really good local response. And then basically at the end of last year, I approached them and just said, hey, how about we turn your staff change room into a 4-seat restaurant? And they said yes straight away. So very happy with that. Yeah, and then we got going, and basically 4 months later it was open. So yeah, it's been heaps of fun.
That's pretty wild. There's not many chefs or restaurateurs out there that go with the tactic of opening a 4-seat restaurant. Tell us about your thinking behind that and how the idea came about for yourself.
Well, basically, I got to know, I was basically at Kavanagh's on opening night because I was pretty excited that there was a great bar coming to town. So yeah, just got to know Brendan and Kate really well through having a knockoff here and there. And yeah, they were sort of racking my brain saying, oh, what sort of food should we do for the whiskey bar, this, that and the other. And yeah, I just popped into my head one day. I was always wanting to do something small and a little bit more sort of customer facing, just challenge myself. But yeah, just really sort of loved the way that those two operated, and they were sort of telling me that it was doing really well, and I thought, well, it couldn't hurt to add another little something in the back room that's not being used. So.
Tell us about the offering there and how the restaurant operates, because it's only can seat a maximum of 4 people. What's the experience like?
So yeah, we say we either do 2 twos, sometimes it's just 2. If we don't get a booking, we get groups of 4. We say 5 if you love each other, because a 2 and a 3 is a bit squishy. But we basically welcome you through the whiskey bar. So we do 2 sittings a night, Wednesday to Saturday, and we do 1 dinner service Sunday. But then basically we do Friday, Saturday lunch as well. So we offer, obviously you can rock up early and have a welcome drink in the whiskey bar. And then when you move through to Emerald City, there's a lot on offer. So we have a set menu that's sort of comprised of about 5 snacks at the moment. We move into a bit of raw fish, some tempura, usually a veg and a meat course from the charcoal, cheese and dessert, and petit four. So there's quite a few things, but they're all sort of small and intensely flavoured and just sort of punchy and fun. And then drinks wise, we offer pretty much whatever you want to do. We do offer a drinks pairing with mostly local wines, and then some other fun things thrown in as well. But we sort of have Barrique Wine Store. So Mark Emmett across the road has been super helpful and he's basically said, hey, I can be your seller if you want. I'll do your wine list and run across the road and grab a bottle if you need it. So it's been pretty special. So we have a decent, I think it's over 100 wines on the list at the moment. We have cocktails from the front bar, beers on tap, which are all local. So lots of options, mocktails, non-alc drinks, and so you can sort of make your own way in here, and it's like a little dinner party, really.
What sort of impact has this role that you've created had on you and your approach and the interactions that you have with guests as well?
I would say it's kind of cool. We get mostly, I'd say like every second booking's either a birthday or anniversary. So people will really come into us to, have their own space and celebrate, and it's really nice to be able to sort of share that with them. And like if we can tailor the menu to your needs, and usually most of the time people are pretty good at throwing their dietaries in the bookings with us, which is good. But if they sort of they turn to me. I had someone the other night that was 90, and she was like, hey, do you mind cooking my raw fish? And I was like, okay, that's fine, I don't care. Like, if you're happy, I'm happy. Just want you to have a good time and leave happy and enjoy your time with us.
Tell us about your food. What's a dish that you could sort of go through that sort of exemplifies your cooking at the moment and the experience people might have?
I would say, we've had a lot of community support when we opened, and one of the local suppliers, Jack, it's a cheesemaker at Stone and Crow. He just turned around and said, hey, I don't really want to make halloumi for everyone on a big scale, but I'll do it just for you. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. So we're getting this halloumi that's made just for us. And so he drops it off every week, and sort of tying in that with a local honey and a local whiskies as a little drizzle sauce. And I think just fun and sort of cooking for the space as well, because it's sort of, there's no gas, it's just a little hibachi grill, an induction plate and a small deep fryer. So it's quite a simple setup.
Wow. Does that affect sort of your creativity and how you approach things?
I think in a positive way. Me and Brendan always talk about restrictions and stuff like that, and I think most of the restrictions here are positive. Like, having no cool room means that everything's fresh, that everything sort of comes in and leaves and doesn't sort of sit around. And then let's say a negative would be me getting sick. I don't know. It's like that's one that's a little bit difficult to sort of get around. But we sort of we work around everything, and we kind of enjoy the challenge.
Well, I want to explore what you're doing there in a bit more detail later on. But take us back to when you were young. Whereabouts did you grow up, and did food play a big role in your life as a kid?
It did. Well, not always. Like, younger, we sort of ate pretty simply, like most people at that time. And I was pretty excited when we got to go to a Chinese restaurant and try things like Peking duck. It just seems like the most luxury thing ever, like someone coming tableside, and that was a special occasion. So I moved up to Healesville when I was 9 with my mum, and then went to primary school, high school out here. So basically just got a job in a butcher shop after school hours and on the weekends, and got to take home meat, and I was sort of watching people like Jamie Oliver just be really passionate, and I was like getting really into it and trying to cook it myself, and sort of fell in love that way, and eventually just got work in the wineries after that. And
tell us about that move into chefing. Do you have any stories of the first couple of years and where you got your foot in the door?
Yeah, so I was pretty terrible, and I was also very shy. So I was, it was pretty, it was pretty jarring for me, because I'd never really, played sports or been involved with that sort of stuff. So it was like the hustle and bustle. I loved it. I was just, definitely a shy kid, and I was lucky to get a mentor, Robin Sutcliffe, who I don't think I'd be cooking if it wasn't for him. He's just such a patient person and an excellent cook. So he was really, really good for me to sort of, just took a little bit more time and care and built my confidence, which was great.
Do you have any stories of some of the experiences you had with Robin and how they affected you? Yeah,
so I guess just seeing how much care he'd put into everything, and he worked for Greg Malouf for quite some time, and ran a couple of his kitchens and had this sort of beautiful way with spices, and we were making like pativiers and all these fun things, and it was just like, this is pretty special. And yeah, I think everyone in the Yarra Valley have got their stories of remembering Robin's food, and just how sort of unpretentious and just so much care in everything he did. He'd always be the first in, and rolling pasta and catching yabbies from the dam and making tortellini, and yeah.
As you started to build your career, were there some venues and people that sort of helped you on your path that you can tell us about?
Yeah, so basically I finished my apprenticeship with Robin, and then one day I was working at Tarrawarra Estate, and Nikki Reamer came in for lunch. And Robin's just turned to me and he said, okay, you're going to go and work for her now if she lets you. And I was like, all right, done. Sounds good. So I moved down to Melbourne and worked for Nikki and Adam Cash at Union Dining for a couple of years. And that was a pretty special time. It was lots of fun, lots of great people, and this, so professional. And her approach to cooking, and it was funny moving down and seeing all these small farms that she was using that were all up in the Yarra Valley, and it was quite cool to see it being used down in the city.
Take us into the kitchen with Nikki Reimer. What was she actually like to work with, and was there any sort of key learnings that you took from her?
Yeah, I think her approach is it's so good. It's still like she's cooking at Pelota Wine Bar now, and the food is it's timeless. It's she's like a European sort of Italian influence, but with her twist. And if you've had a risotto cooked by Nikki, it's a pretty special thing. And just really attention on the simple things. Whether it's not so much on the fluff, more on the integrity of the ingredient. And and her organisation is next level as well. Like, if you've ever done an event with Nikki, she's got it all over it.
Well, what was life like for you in Melbourne, sort of having grown up in the Yarra Valley? But was it different for you?
It did take a bit of adjusting, and it's funny too. It took some adjusting moving back as well. It's so dark out here. No, I loved it. I was just excited, and made some new friends, and just really, it was really great to be surrounded by other people that were just as passionate and really keen on restaurants and food and alcohol. And it was great. Some of the waiters at Union Dining would just sort of grab me and take me along to all the wine tastings, and so we'd do that on our days off, and it was just it was a great learning period.
Tell us about your time in Melbourne. What did you get out of the experience, and did you work at other venues beyond Union Dining?
Yeah, so after Union, I did like a lot of chefs in Melbourne have done a little placement at Attica for a couple of months, which once again was just so much fun, and I really connected with people from all over the world at that point, because the kitchen was full of people from different parts. And so that was a great little turbocharged learning experience. And then after that, I sort of got to know Banjo, Harris, and Michael, who's now got Reed House. And so I got to know them, and then they basically put me on as the first head chef at Bar Liberty, which was really good. So I was there in Fitzroy cooking for a couple of years with Casey Wall.
How was that experience?
Oh, Casey's he's such a great chef and such a great human. He's so intense. I love him. He's his approach to food. He really kicked my butt in a good way, and really sort of he's focused on consistency and seasoning, and it's really, really impressive.
Bar Liberty was part of the throng of that sort of new wave of dining in Australia. Tell us about your food at that time and how that changed, sort of being in that role that you're in.
So I guess, when you open a funky natural wine bar in Fitzroy, you're kind of not really limited in terms of what you can do, because everyone that comes in is pretty much open to go, I want to try something different, or, a flavour I've never had or a combination I haven't had, and they don't really turn their noses up at it. It's like a really sort of really cool thing that you can have a little experiment. And yeah, it was a really fun time of cooking for me. We had a really good kitchen crew, and Mark Hannell was in the kitchen as well, and from Reed House, and yeah, we all really just bounced off each other and had a good time, and the customers loved it, which was nice. So we get some salty comments and that kind of stuff, because we really did push it up with the seasoning, but yeah, it was that kind of place that you can do that, and it's just a bit of fun.
What lured you back to the Yarra Valley?
Probably just to, like, my mum still lives out here, and just to reconnect with family a little bit, and I guess I was sort of just wanting to sort of feel a little bit more grounded and find a role that felt right for me, and it just felt right at the time to sort of move back and get closer with family, and yeah.
Tell us about that move back, and where you found your feet, and where you were cooking.
Yeah, so I moved back, and I wasn't too fussed on where I'd be working at the time. And one of my friends reached out and said, "Hey, I'm running the kitchen up at Giant Steps. Do you want to jump in and run the grill for a bit?" And yeah, so I did that, and had a really good time just cooking, and sort of, I guess, not taking on too much responsibility, and it was a nice little refresher. And I met my my now fiance there as well, which is pretty awesome. We bought a house together a couple of years back, and super happy, and yeah, so it was nice to have that sort of just cooking, focusing on life outside of the kitchen for a while.
How did you land the job at Tarawara?
So basically, I was cooking as the head chef at Medhurst Winery in Greer, and we were kind of up and down with lockdowns, and it was around that time of COVID. And so we sort of switched to a little set menu there, and that was a great time as well. But I basically just got a phone call one day saying that the head chef was leaving, and they needed someone to step in. So I was sort of cooking by myself at Medhurst, and then I was quite keen to jump into a big kitchen again and have a crack running it with a small team.
Did that have its challenges? Tell us about that role.
So many. So I absolutely loved it. I loved having that team, and being the head chef where I was an apprentice. It felt pretty special. And then taking on an apprentice myself, it was like a really sort of full circle moment, and it was really cool to be able to give that to someone else as well. It was a really nice feeling.
You mentioned some of the farmers of the region a bit earlier on. Tell us about the produce of the region and some of the farmers that you connect with and use frequently.
So at the moment, I'm using the Yarra Valley Salmon Roe. We use the Jack's cheese from Stone and Crow. We've got some fermented beverages on. It's like a new product, Hairy Armadillo, that's really nice. Local honey that sort of is a little market behind Emerald City, and every Saturday, and there's a really good amount of farmers and producers, like Timbara Farms down there as well. They sort of have a really, really cool setup on a mountain. Chris and Helen are great people and supply a lot of the restaurants around here.
What's it like in the role that you have now? You've been in kitchens where you've run kitchens and you've had staff, or you've been one of the staff members and a part of a brigade. What's it like sort of being on your own now? Does it have its sort of benefits and challenges as well?
So I kind of have the best of both worlds in Emerald City, because I get to be a part of a team with the Kavanagh's crew. So we all have a good time and work together still. But in terms of myself managing people and all that sort of stuff, it's sort of not there. So it's a pretty simple day for me. It's like if prep's ready and I've got my wines and the restaurant's looking good, then it's a good day. Like there's not too much else that happens that can go sort of sideways, which is really nice.
Well, you've created something pretty unique there. What sort of plans do you have over the next year or two?
We're eight months in now, and I really just want to sort of just focus and keep making sure that our guests are happy, and making changes to the experience for the better, and hopefully just keep sort of getting a little bit better each day, and just making it the best time it can be for people.
It's such a beautiful place in Victoria, with some amazing farmers, and some of them, as you mentioned. What do you love about the region and sort of the food offerings there?
I really love that. It's a real. I guess it is a small town. It's a big small town, but there's a real sense of community, and to sort of have the people coming into Kavanagh's to have a beer are winemakers and growers and cheesemakers, and we sort of see each other at Coles, and it's really cool to sort of have everyone in this community that all plays a part, and it's really special.
Well, you're doing something quite special and very different at the moment to just about every restaurant in the country. What do you love about what you do?
I think that immediate sort of that interaction with the guests is something that I haven't really done before, and it feels like it really just feels like I'm having a dinner party every night. It's not too sort of stuffy with the service or anything. Like it's pretty. I try and keep it pretty laid back and interactive, and you can sort of hopefully be yourself in the space, and really sort of just make it your own for the night.
Well, you're definitely doing that, Joel, and it's an absolute honour to have you on Deep in the Weeds to hear just a part of your story. Please keep in touch, and look forward to catching up again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. Stay tuned as we take a deep dive into the lives of the incredible people who ply their trade in the food and hospitality sector. Special thanks to executive producer Rob Locke for making this all happen. Follow us on Instagram at Deep in the Weeds Podcast, or email us at podcast@deepintheweeds.com.au. Stay safe and be well.